He has now come with the attachments and all documents done. So can you speak to them? Electoral Commission is talking. Honorable Kakoza. Honorable Kakoza. If you are disturbing, they will not gazette you.
Honorable Chairman and members, good afternoon once again, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to come back and make a formal presentation, which we have done. Honorable Chair, we did write to Ministry of Finance and to government generally of the funds we are short. We are happy that there is an indication that there is some consideration coming now that it's before this honorable committee. We are in need of funds amounting to over 56 billion, but for now we have been asked to talk to the 56 billion being considered. Mr. Chairman, we have made a brief breakdown of the money. First, in that table we have presented as summary, we have funds required for purposes of meeting costs related to the biometric voter verification system, which we have used in the general elections, and this totals to 43.76 billion. Mr. Chairman and members, you will recall that the demarcation of electoral areas and reorganization of polling stations is normally our first activity in the electoral cycle, but because there was a later creation of new town councils and then parliamentary prescription of the number of constituencies, the Commission had to go in, and this cost us 2.808 billion. And because these were newly created, they had not been in our earlier agreed budget and approved by the Ministry of Finance and Parliament. So we have costs related to conduct of elections, which we have done in all the areas related to the new cities and the new town councils to a cost of 8.865 billion. My chair and members, you also remember there were new elective positions created, effective with the next parliament, of 5 representatives of older persons, which came at a time when Parliament had already approved the budget for us. So we had to meet costs of this, and it is budgeted at 1.088 billion, which totals to the amount under consideration of 56.523.
Okay, that is enough. Teacher. Members, any clarifications? You have made it very
straightforward. However, Chair, no, I'm saying appear. I said appear, but I'm saying, however, it appears to be straightforward. But however, Chair, I have seen all of this. The major things that, yes, I know the machines were used, but we want evidence, Chair, that because it's just a claim, there's no evidence to show that actually there's a date. So how do we proceed in absence of that evidence? Not even communication with the Ministry of Finance, or Auditor General, or agreements. There's no base document for us. So, Chair, I don't even know whether we are proceeding well to consider something for which there is no base.
Chair, this presentation is futuristic. Yet these activities have taken place, but the presentation is like the activities are going to be conducted. Because when you see biometric verification system for use during the presidential, parliamentary, and local government elections, this is futuristic. It's not referring to what my colleagues talk about. If it was a date, proof of that this is what we incurred, this was the shortage. This was the shortage. Because I think for the voter machines on item 1, all these things in the last budget were catered for. It was not something that came out like the demarcation of the new constitution that came out after. So this should not really be a thing that needs to be brought in as supplementary.
Okay.
It was covered for. 2, when you look at 4, the election of older persons representative, we have done with it. Yeah, we have done it with it. Which resources, which areas, with which resources, how did we do it, where did we borrow from, how is it arising? So I think this is what needs to be really, some meat, some flesh needs to be put into this information. Yeah, even these issues of the new districts, new posters, new town councils, which the elections are being held today. They are being held today. Because what did they do in order to have a successful election? I would have loved possibly here if they had commented something like which you started with the chairperson of saying that we don't have money for gazetting the names, because it's now 2 weeks. Last year, previous elections have gone through 4 or 5 elections. Within 1-2 weeks, the gazette is out. But this time up to now, we are wondering what is happening. So if there was the shortage of money, it should have been the one here. But he should also be able to clarify that why they are delaying to issue the gazettes. So, Chairperson, those are a few serious concerns.
Yeah, like Honorable Cooper said, that all the activities listed here for which money is demanded for are futuristic, according to your presentation. They look like the activities to be done. And yet when you look at 2, for example, demarcation of parliamentary constituency, local government electoral areas, reorganizing of polling stations, it was already done. So if you did it, say, on credit, or you borrowed money somewhere, what you should be telling us is that we have a date. We have a date for this and that which we did before finance gave us money. But when you just for this, it means maybe there's another election that is going to take place. Maybe there are more constituencies that have been created, and now we want to demarcate, and maybe there are more biometric, whatever that you want to procure. Can we understand really? These activities that have taken place, and you did them without money. If you did them without money, some of them cannot be done without money anyway. How did the people go there, go to Kumi to demarcate the what? The constituency? How did you do it there before we can consider it?
Maybe, Chair.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, today has been a very unfortunate day for this committee because we feel uncomfortable that most of the presentations made are not meeting our standard of our requirements for supplementary budget. Mr. Chairman, it's more or less the same story. You need to brief the presenters and accounting officers what is required of them when they come to present supplementary as opposed to the normal budgetary request. Mr. Chairman, it's very, very unfortunate that the Electoral Commission is coming to us for supplementary for the purpose of biometric voters verification. Has it been able to meet your condition of being unavoidable or whatnot? Or these are activities which have already happened. Like in my own constituency, my own polling station where I voted, the system where is it called the biometric voting? Yeah. Even the fingerprint even failed. We had to go back to the conventional one. But I'm being asked to pay for that now from what I'm seeing. So, Mr. Chairman, I think I've looked through very quickly. I'm not trying to misjudge this document, but I have read it, and I don't have the exact memory of what happened in the budget figures that we gave the Electoral Commission. But most of these were paid for. And I think the PS should be honest to us. We paid for all these activities. And normally when you ask for the budget, we normally leave some allowances, particularly when it comes to the elections. So unless if we are to be ruthless, we would say, come to us with factual presentation of what you have spent or what is given to you and what the gaps are, so that we can now deal with the gaps. But as per now, I don't think you have factual figures of what you have spent, what was given to you in the last budget, and what you still need from us to be appropriated. So I think, Mr. Chairman, I'm not persuaded
Point taken.
to give it approval.
Colleagues, we need to wait.
Chair,
Colleagues,
maybe
we need to get clear when did the commission request for these funds? When did, information?
Mr.
Okay, information.
Chairman, when I look at this table, the detailed table of the Electoral Commission, it was made in August of 2020. So we want to know, and I think it was not made as a normal budget. So I want to know, in view of this date, should this have been a supplementary expenditure, or it was a normal budget that we appropriated for them?
Started in July.
Yeah, in July.
So
The
I
new
think
financial
they were thinking ahead, knowing there are going to be new constituencies were coming, new whatever was coming. Honorable Cecilia Ogwale had to fight for elder persons. So I think we should look item by item. Item number 4.
But
Hold on.
Chair.
Let's hold on. Let's go slowly. Let's go slowly. The question is, there is this being futuristic, but we need also to understand from the legal people. You see, when we come to Parliament, we come with our own knowledge. There is a day I was supposed to read a bill. I was reporting, and then we quarreled with the legal people. They started a sentence that the object of their bill is, and I told them, no, this bill was laid some time back. So reporting today means was. And they outruled me that, no, this is how it's done. This is how it's done. You can't change that. We are not doing English here. We are doing legal things here. So the fact now comes, is this the standard how you request for the money? Do you request, because you have already held elections of these people, where you got money, you'll tell this committee whether you borrowed or you re-engineered as a manager, instead of saying no elections, because the law also requires you to hold a general election and a by-election.
Share information.
I'm guiding. You'll reform later. Now, you are supposed to conduct election of these people who came in, the elderly, new constituencies, you have to demarcate. For the other BVVS, that fake machine, that thing which was not functioning well, most of them were not even reading. The contract, is it government who went into a contract with this organization, say that you are paying in installment, and if therefore you are paying in installment, why wasn't it budgeted before at the time? So you have to clear this. Where did you get the money? Because you have conducted the election. Now we are now talking about substance. Let's not talk about the way the submission is. Let's go to substance. The election has been held. It was not budgeted before. Yes, you confirm whether it was, because even some of these constituencies came in later, so they were not in the original budget. But you also got a supplementary again on 3%. So we coordinate those figures so that we forget the issue of being futuristic in reporting. We go now to the substance. actual budget. These additional things came in. You funded it either by front-loading other activities or diversions. So that's where we want you now to take us.
Thank you, Naibu
Yeah.
Chair. Looking at the first item, we did budget for it, but it was not provided for. Then, because we required it, the minister advised us to proceed with the procurement of this biometric voter verification system. And in the agreement, the agreement is to pay them in 3 installments. Even to effect the first installment, I think this committee and parliament had to appropriate a supplementary of 50 billion, which we advanced them. It was not, much as we had budgeted. So we received a supplementary budget of 50 billion, which we paid the first installment. And now, Honorable Chair, as you have rightly said, they have done their work. Right now, actually, they are on our case. They want the balance, which balance we don't have. And that's how now, again, it comes as a supplementary budget. Because we budgeted, but it was not, it came out as an unfunded priority. Yes. Yes, Chair. Yeah, we can provide the contracts.
What he should send is the cost of the contracts and the payments you made up to date.
Yeah, we can provide that, Honorable Chair.
But also, Chair, on this payment of the polling officials, the payment of the polling officials, I think we don't need to put these figures which are here, because this was for budgeting purposes. Because what was actual on the ground, you were paying, because the advert, when the youth applied, because at least I had the interest in it. The advert that I saw in Serere, the polling constable, polling assistants were paid 40,000. President at 50,000. That's the advert which was pinned in the district. But here in your budgeting here, the figures are different. But what was down was on the ground. I was trying to get, because even that.
We have paid for presidential
And parliamentary.
and parliamentary. We have also paid for local government.
I was trying to get that advert here on my phone, but my battery has gone off.
Yeah, the presiding officers were paid 50,000.
Yes.
The assistants were paid 40.
So it's not 100. So Chair, you can now see. Those figures need to be adjusted.
All of them.
All of them. All the unit costs have to be adjusted.
Fuel costs 4,500 per liter.
From where?
Sitting allowance for ROs and ROs is 100,000. Provide us with your money.
Okay.
The adverts there.
Okay, they will submit that, but
Adjust-
I wanted us
adjust
to
the
know,
figure.
colleagues, I was thinking we knock these items one by one.
Yeah.
Number one is clear there was a contract by government, which was totaling 93 point something billion. 50 billion was paid as a supplementary. So the balance is supposed to be paid. Only what we need is a copy of the contract
Yeah, we shall
to
provide.
ascertain that you are not a
But
fully
Chair-
signed contract.
Chair,
They are saying in their item that the payment for the balance was supposed to be in 3 installments.
Yeah, whatever, but the balance has to be paid.
And next, so the first
Installments,
was made and the next installment is due.
yeah.
So of the 43, you have paid something.
We paid them 50.
50,
Uh-uh.
43 is not paid.
No, 43 is outstanding. And that's why in the supplementary, the request.
Okay.
is 43.
It is the 93 which is supposed to be paid in 3 installments. Is it?
Yes.
Okay. But your write-up is not clear.
Chair,
The 43 has to be paid.
Chair.
In 2 installments.
No, Chair,
Whatever installments, it has to be paid.
Chair,
Yeah.
Chair. Maybe let it get it clear. Because for me, if they budgeted for the financial year and their budget was fully paid, projecting that they are elder election for the general elections. What happened? Didn't that budget Minister of Finance pay for it as fully funded, projected with these activities, or it was not funded?
He has already explained that item was not funded in the budget. And that's why they went ahead after the agreement to have that DVS system, which is maybe supposed to add credibility to elections. A contract was signed, government signed a contract, and they gave a supplementary of 50 billion shillings. That's the 50 they paid under 3%. So the balance of 43 billion, 0.7 is what they are seeking now, which government has to clear according to the contract.
Could we get those documents?
That's what we have agreed. They have to submit that contract.
Mr. Chairman.
You see, today we asked for some contract, but later on to learn there is no contract. And the officer here was confirming there is a
Mr.
contract.
Chairman.
Of how many? Of 80 billion.
Mr. Chairman.
And they want 33, that a contract says we must give advance of 70%, but there is no contract. We are learning
Mr.
after.
Chairman.
Yes.
I think this is the clarification I'm really seeking. If they have already got supplementary under the 3%, the rest of the money they're asking for must meet your conditions, must meet our legal conditions. And by now, we should not be wasting time in asking those details you're asking for. We should just ask whether what they're asking for actually meet with our conditionalities.
The Secretary,
Yeah.
when did the decision...
And in any case, supplementary is not requested to pay debts.
When did the decision to use this? Okay, let's dispose that. When was the decision arrived at to bring in these machines, the BV, whatever you call it? When was the decision arrived at?
As Commission, we budgeted this right from the beginning, but it came out as unfunded until towards the end, the decision was taken that these machines must come on board. But then they were unfunded. So at that time, we were allowed by the ministry to contract these people, and we proceed. And indeed, we were cleared by Solicitor General. Yes.
Colleagues, it seems in their plan they wanted the machines. The decision makers on money said this one can wait.
Yes.
But later on it is arrived that there is no election you can hold without this, so we must have them.
Exactly.
They are given a go-ahead, they went on to contract. So there's no way it could be budgeted for. And they went ahead to pay a deposit. So we can't labor much on this matter. Let's go to matter number 2.
Before you close, Chair, maybe they should clarify what was in the public domain, how they hired the smart matric company also to provide a service. Because this projection was to buy, they went in the public domain. We had that Electoral Commission went and hired machines, over 30,000 machines for biometric. They didn't buy, they hired. Yes. Is it true?
Honorable Chair, when we procured the biometric voter verification machines, there are a number of components there. There is the system, the software itself, and then the machines which we saw at the polling stations. We buy some and hire some because we have 34,684 polling stations. Now we bought 2,000 pieces, which even after the general election, if there are any by-elections, we use 2,000. Now, then we leased for purposes of the elections. There were 36,000 machines in total. We hired 34,000.
Could we get a copy of that agreement?
It's part of the agreement.
But Chair, can I know the Chair?
It is
Chair.
part of the contract.
Chair.
Yes.
No, I just want
Including
to
hires.
No, Chair, I want to be on the same page. Chair, may I know when, maybe I was not, maybe I had switched off, I don't know. When are we getting this? Because are we getting them today?
Maybe tomorrow early. Tomorrow early.
So let's look at item number 2, 3, 4. Item number 2, 3, 4 means these constituencies were not foreseen. These ones qualify for that.
The new town council.
But as the managers, they went ahead and held elections. So where did you get, how did you manage? Maybe a good manager that if resources were for 10 constituencies, you can use those resources to have election in 16. So that we give you a medal instead of again.
Address the media, because when we were asking how ready, they said, we have got all the money we request and we need for this. That's the chairman, he said it. Yes, he said we have got all the money.
Mr. Chairman, we didn't receive all the money, and we are on record. We did write to the ministry right from the start that we needed these funds, and we listed all unfunded priorities and even the underfunded priorities. And we indicated, of course, at the first time, this was not bad because we didn't have these new town councils. Now, when they come on board, the number of elective officers budgeted for increases. So you find that even the printing of the ballot papers, we have not yet paid the suppliers. So some of these costs are still outstanding. Some of the costs we were advised by the ministry. Maybe the accountant could explain that. Mr. Chairman, I ask that the accountant give some explanation.
So colleagues.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay. You are the finance manager?
Yes, Chair.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. And honorable members, when we presented a request for supplementary budget in August, so that's what I'm coming to. Chair, when this request was presented, Minister of Finance gave us a go-ahead to use part of the available resources to conduct the ongoing activities as arrangements are being made for the supplementary. So we had the part of the money for the general election activities that we had budgeted before from the beginning. So we went ahead to implement the activities since they are chronological in order by funding the ongoing activities such that the activities at the end of the process are those that are being affected. Though we are
If I had the money to buy this 2 bottles of water, the situation arises where I must buy this glass, but there is no money. So I say, let me take money, I would have moved these 2 bottles, I buy 1 bottle, and I use money to buy this one. That's what you have to do. So you have no money. These new processes came into play. New sub-counties came and you arranged the election, which has successfully taken place. Now you want this money. But before we go to that, you have to convince us. Since there was no money and we had to hold the election, we engineered like this. How did you money? Which money did you use?
Chair. For
Oh,
example,
if not, we might conclude by saying your budget was too big, it was exaggerated, and you have money. Yes, if you don't make it clear, it means it was okay. Finance.
Sometimes there are symptoms you look at, and they tell you the story. You know, like the other day, you were telling us that some police constables, some polling agents are not yet paid. That's what happens. If it has come very clear, you would have said, these ones are not yet paid, or we paid half or a quarter. You remember, Honorable Cooper, when you are raising those matters. So some of these things come because of those matters. Chair, I
Are
explained
you a
that.
qualified financial manager
Yes, sir.
with experience?
Yes, Chair.
I hope you're not a bookworm, yes.
Chair,
Because
I
the
am.
question is simple. Before even you are asked, you should have said, we have held this election. We used money from side A, B, C, D. Which activities were first of all held? Now, if we were given back this money to cover this, then it would be okay. But now you can't say that. You are talking about finance. So that's why we might conclude that your budget was overstated. You see, it can be over-exaggerated, whereby when you get extra burden, you can fit within it without any problems, therefore not requiring this money.
Chair,
That's how we shall end up concluding.
Chair, the explanation is that when we made finance over the request for the supplementary, they agreed to front load the funded budget as it was from the very beginning, to have the activities implemented as arrangements are being done for the supplementary. So we use, no, I think, Chair, let us be very clear with it. You have asked a good question. You see, if I have a budget, even if I front load, that means that I'm affecting something. Because if I front load the salary, that means I don't pay salaries for the rest of the month. If I front load the allowance, that means I don't pay. Then I brief the committee that that's what happened. These are the items which were affected. That's what they want. Exactly. Chair. Chair.
We have health here and in the knee.
For purpose of helping us in a coming, can Electoral Commission tell us their requirement, the adjusted ones, and what, because you started getting money in the financial 2019-20, then you go to 2021. So tell us the total, plus also now included the supplementary. You tell us in your submission, the envelopes, your requirements, and what you got in 2019-2020, and then what you got to 2020-2021, and then added the supplement, and then tell us the total that you've got, and then the outstanding. That will also help us.
Okay. So, finance man, this is not a secretary. Go and put that financial statement in writing, and then agreement. We receive it by morning tomorrow.
And she also.
So that.
He also adjusts this thing because here what was advertised, which people is applied for, the figures are not reorganized.
You reorganize.
It will not come to all.
I know you picked this hurriedly. You see, these days we don't want blame to come from our side. So can Electoral Commission can take leave? You see, we want to go on to COVID matters. For you should go and eat. But again, I don't see. Who is the minister? Tell him to call.